Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man. I'm coming to you from parts unknown. I hope everyone is doing well tonight. And I'm once again simulcasting on Rumble and Utizzle. And I appreciate everybody who joins me this evening. I hope you remember to give me a thumbs up. So, while we're waiting for folks to get in the chats, a couple of things we're going to talk about is Ghislaine moved to Texas. She moved to a different prison. What does that intimate? We'll get into some of that. Also, the Democrats, to their reputation, the Clintons and Obama, awkward. Hillary, Obama hire the same hitman to off one another. It's very strange. The numbers for the Democrat Party is looking pretty terrible. Trump has also deployed 2 nuclear submarines off Russia. And Dan Scavino said the magic word tick-tock. Those 2 words, what are that? People get into the chats. I'll play a few videos, and then we'll be like butter and get on a roll. Let's see, I cut my mic off.
It's Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Yeah, because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
We want to remind the audience to please not talk out loud. Please do not applaud. You're just wasting time.
We saw them for who they are. We saw this during the lawfare against President Trump over the last 4 years. They tried to bankrupt him for non-fraud. They tried to throw him in prison for the rest of his life 4 times for non-crimes. They tried to just illegally, unconstitutionally take him off the ballot. They tried to take off his head. They underfunded his Secret Service protection intentionally. Joe Biden said to put a bullseye on him in the speeches, said he was the gravest threat since Hitler, almost got him killed twice that we know about, right? And thank God President Trump won this election, because I really think if President Trump would have lost this election, our country would have been over. We would have lost control of the Supreme Court and the federal judiciary, and then it's game over, America. There goes our God-given rights to speak, to worship, to associate, to protect ourselves. Everything was on the line this election.
Storm's on.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about.
They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
He's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
Now think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give President tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Now the gloves are off.
Some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn, and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he sees as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up.
Hi, folks. I hope you all are having a great evening. Thank you for joining me tonight. Very interesting. Trump's posts once again. Hi, Sissy. How you doing? Melinda, Robin, Todd, Candace Cleanup, Gloria, Angel, Wayne's here giving me a thumbs up. Rain's here. Nice to see you. All right. People are rolling in. Colette's here. Joy is here. Nice to see you. Oh, all right, Joy. Let's hope that comes out good. Another CT scan coming. Hopefully it'll be good news. Hi, Flannel Cheese. Sherry's here. Let's see. Kim, nice to see you. All right, everybody's coming in. Greg's here. Agent 22. All right. Andrew, nice to see you. All right, folks. Well, I don't know how much you all want to read into it, but they're stoking the flames on this Epstein stuff and Ghislaine Maxwell. And she's been moved to Texas. I had this up. Where is it? I had it up on the screen when I first went live. A report from Fox affiliate. Whoa. And what does it mean? Everybody's going, oh, they better put a lot of protection around her. Oh, my goodness, Trump's up to something. Trump's up to something. Who's been in control? There she is. There she is. They don't show her what she looks like now. She doesn't have her Miss Clairol and her high-dollar product. You don't get that stuff in federal custody. But there's a couple of ways to look at it. One, you could say that where she is so notorious now. And if you look at pictures, there's a lot of tree cover around there. Florida, real estate's at a premium. Unless you're in Alligator, Alcatraz, you're probably pretty close to other structures, buildings, businesses. I don't know. But there's a lot of tree growth around there. And the pictures I saw in Texas, the facility looked rather isolated. So I was thinking, well, it could be a way to put her in a they say it's a less security, but less security to keep people in. Okay? There's a difference between keeping people in and keeping people out. If you got somebody with bad plans trying to get in, it's probably better to have a lot of open area around there. So, they can't get in by car without being spotted or on foot or some kind of aerial approach, or who knows. It'd be a lot harder to get an operative in there. You see what I'm saying? So that's one potential thought. But then there's another, is that we got traitors everywhere. As we found out with the National Archives, remember that? Who would have thought you'd have people that you could activate to cause the President of the United States trouble in the National Library, the librarian even. So prison placement is handled by the Bureau of Prisons, and they move people where they want. The marshals have nothing to say about it. I remember a judge saying one time, well, I can't give anybody work release. Somebody was asked, could you give this guy work release? Can he do this? Can he be near the family? And the judge said, I have no say over that. And that was years ago. But that's the first time I learned that jails are their own, on their own system, whether it's a sheriff of a county that runs them or in the federal system. It's the Bureau of Prisons. And if they got somebody corrupt there, that would move her into a vulnerable position. I don't know. But she is a high-value individual right now. So I'm sure steps are being taken. That's my take on it. And it could be that what I said in the first place, putting her in a more isolated area so somebody cannot infiltrate with ease. That's what I'm hoping. Hi, Angel. Nice to see you. Sparky, Miss Mendersu, Pappy Two Bears. Mark's here. All right. Did I miss anybody? If I missed anybody, I apologize. Damon, nice to see you. So anyway, but most people, even Democrats, with this setup here, everybody jokes about how Hillary's past associates have expired at some time or another. So it's interesting to watch the dynamics as this stuff plays out. And you know, Dan Scavino made some interesting posts, and that's why I put on my thumbnail a combination of a post by Dan Scavino and a post by today. He put this post up. This one, here it is. American coup d'etat. And we see all the faces. And many of you probably know, but I will say it for the sake of people who may not know, that this is the exact same post that was put up 6 or 7 years ago on the board. The B, if you want to pronounce it that way. So anyway, these people are not sleeping good. You see the upside down American flag, America in distress. Familiar names: Obama, Loretta Lynch, James Comey, Hillary Clinton, John Podesta. Remember the Podesta Group? The most powerful lobbying firm in Washington? They disintegrated and vanished weeks after Trump's election. Just folded up shop, just left. So he is, I put in my thumbnail, first big arrests or indictments. He's in the running because his face keeps popping up, but you don't hear much in the news. Trump hasn't mentioned him by name in a while, but you keep seeing his face. Trump put up yesterday, John Podesta's face was there. But we all know these names: Huma Abedin, Susan Rice, Anton, well, maybe that's the one I don't know. Zebny, maybe we'll hear something about him. Sally Yates, Ben Rhodes, John Brennan, James Clapper, Debbie Wasserman Schmutz, and on down the line. Bruce and Elior, remember them? Maybe they'll pop up. Rod Rosenstein, Rod Mueller. Oh, gosh. Strzok and Page, Andrew McCabe. Who would be first? Well, you know me. I went to the 17th letter and checked it out. I'll go over those in a minute. But we will cover. He's got a lot of irons in the fire. And of course, the Midas Trash Pail Network, here's what they put up. New, somebody named Julie K. Brown. She exposed it. Whoever this person is, Julie K. Brown. the journalist who has led the way in exposing Epstein and his associates, reveals chilling new details about the Trump-Epstein connection and more in this exclusive interview. Remember I said they better watch out. When they're picking on Ivanka, I think they're going to get sued at some point. And there was a story where the Daily Beast had to retract a story they did that was utter nonsense about the Epstein situation. I'll get to that in a minute. Remember, the Daily Beast was involved in an American citizen. He had a YouTube channel, Coach Red Pill. I did videos on it. And I said that they were going to be held culpable if anything happened to him. And he did lose his life in a Ukrainian prison. But we'll get into that when the time comes. But here we have Mr. T. Just in, President Trump said he ordered 2 nuclear submarines to move in the appropriate regions in response to what he called highly provocative statements from Deputy Chair of Russia's Security Council, Dmitry Medvedev, or however you say his name. Trump moves nuclear submarines. What were we told about the precipice? People don't change until they get right to the precipice. Is that where we're heading? Well, if you'll recall, I said in my earlier broadcasts that Trump said that this Dmitry guy was a former president, a failed president, and need to watch his mouth, and that he responded, but I said I'm not going to put his response up because it's provocative. Remember me saying that? I didn't want to put his response up. Well, here it is. I went back and got it from a couple of days ago. This is what Trump is talking about. To me, it was cryptic and provocative. Trump called, when he called Dmitry Medvedev a failed former president. Well, the Russian news put him up there as Iron Medvedev about Trump's threats against him. This was about 2 days ago. Maybe it's twisted in translation. I don't know. What do you all think? If some words of the former president of Russia cause such a nervous reaction from such a former president, formidable president of the USA, will continue on its path. Trump said that Russia and India had dead economies. He didn't care what they did with each other. He went on to say, and about the dead economy of India and Russia and the entering dangerous territory. Well, let him remember that his favorite movies about the Walking Dead, as well as how dangerous the non-existent dead hand can be. So I didn't put that response up, but apparently, because, you know, it right away doesn't make sense, but it is obviously a rude rejoinder to Trump, telling him to be careful with his words. And it uses the word dead a lot. So apparently Trump, what he read into that message, had him deploy these submarines. So also he put out this, this isn't about that, about the Russians. He made a comment about it. Let's see. I'll come across it when I get to it. But what did you all make of that comment? His favorite movie, The Walking Dead. I never heard Trump say anything like that. So, anyway, let me see what's going on in the comments, what anybody thinks. If I'm missing something, I don't think. Hi, Judy. Nice to see you. So, anyway, it was enough to get Trump to something out of Putin, okay? So, anyway, let's go over some of the stuff Trump is putting out there. And then we'll get in some Dan Scavino and some of the more provocative things. And who do you think we should be sweating the most? Besides John Podesta. The Senate must stay in session, taking no recess into the entire executive calendar is clear. We have to save our country from the lunatic left. Republicans, for the health and safety of the USA, do your job. And so wait. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So we're going to separate the wheat from the chaff. Remember, we were told to trust Grassley. The ball is pretty much in Grassley's court about getting rid of that blue slip crap. Republicans, when in doubt, vote the exact opposite of Senator Susan Collins. Generally speaking, you can't go wrong. Thank you for your attention to this matter and make America great again. Susan Collins. Well, here is Dan Scavino. They, Dems, thought Trump and those close to him would be in prison by now. That's not an exaggerated statement. If they had the chance to put him in prison, I mean a dirty, dangerous federal prison for the rest of his life, they would do it. Those people with that mentality in positions of power are criminals. That was their end game after a long 9-year journey. But he's back, and the cover-up is unraveling before our very eyes. 2 terms from the 17th letter from the board. Buckle up and sleep tight, y'all. You know who you are. Tick-tock. So that's what made me pick this thumbnail. And also go through some posts for the 17th letter, which we'll go over after we finish with some of the things Mr. T had been putting up. Because he's got other things that have to be tended to, like saving the nation, saving the world economy from what you'll get from chaos and deprivation is communism. That's how they swoop in and take control. Anyway, the Russia hoax is now totally undisputed. The facts are all there in black and white. It's the biggest scandal in American history. The perpetrators of this crime must pay a big price. This can never be allowed to happen in our country again. This has been said over and over again. Whoa, what is the deal with, what is the deal with this Powell character? Strong dissent on the Fed board. It will only get stronger. Too late. So Trump is letting him know that the board might vote him off. He also put up a warning for him or a reminder about a past individual. To that, but oh, okay, I've already put this one up. Let me see. What is the one he put up about the former, I guess, chairwoman of the Fed who stepped down? I don't know. Let me go over these Trump posts, and we pick it up. We'll go from there. Let's see. Trump put this up from Jonathan Turley. Of course, the media, including the Post and Times, which won Pulitzer Prizes for the story, never said it was a trick. They said it was the truth. That's why they can honestly report on the story now. To do so would not be coverage. It would be a confession. That's the second time I heard that term used. The other person was clandestine. They would have to confess that they got it all wrong. And the question is, did you do it on purpose? Or are you just stupid? There's only two answers. Trump put up, I've just been informed that almost 20,000 Russian soldiers died this month in the ridiculous war with Ukraine. Russia has lost 112,500 soldiers since the beginning of the year. That is a lot of unnecessary death. Ukraine, however, has also suffered greatly. They've lost approximately 8,000 soldiers since January 1st, 2025, and that number does not include their missing. Ukraine has also lost civilians, but in a smaller number, as Russian rockets crash into Kiev and other Ukrainian locales. This is a war that should have never happened. This is Biden's war, not Trump's. I'm just here to see if I can stop it. This is important to keep in Americans' minds because this coup stretched not only through the Russia hoax, but it stretched all the way through all of the indictments against Trump, all of the lawsuits against Trump and his family, all through the plan and endemic, okay? All this stuff is tied together. And these wars would have never happened if they would have left Trump alone and let him do his job. We wouldn't have 20 million extra people to try to get out of our country. And on we go. So we got to keep bringing it up. Based on the highly provocative statements of the former president of Russia, Dmitry Medvedev, who is now the deputy chairman of the Security Council of the Russian Federation, I have ordered 2 nuclear submarines to be positioned in the appropriate regions, just in case these foolish and inflammatory statements are more than just that. Words are very important and can often lead to unintended consequences. I hope this will not be one of those instances. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And at least one of the comments were what I read to you about The Walking Dead and a dead hand. So, I'm looking here. I want to play Jonathan Turley. Trump put this clip up. He also, maybe we're doing our own reverse Mockingbird, using the same themes and the same terms. But he says, here, nobody's sleeping. There's a lot of people in this town that aren't sleeping real good right now. Something to that effect.
Well, there's a lot of people worried in the city tonight. This is the great reveal that John Ratcliffe was promising, and there's more to come. The important thing about this, Sean, is that it confirms things that we knew, and it gives us things that we did not know. We always knew, not always, but we knew earlier in July 2016, Brennan briefed Obama to say that Hillary Clinton was planning to create a Russian collusion scandal for Trump to distract from her email scandal. Critical role in overruling CIA analysts and including the Steele dossier. We also know that the Clinton campaign lied to the media, denied they had funded the Steele dossier, and indeed hid that funding as legal expenses by Mark Elias, the general counsel at that time of the Clinton campaign. And all of this required this all-on-deck effort, the government, the campaign, the media. That's why when you see the reaction of the media today, it's clear that no matter what is produced, you can show a dozen heads in a duffel bag and they're still not impressed. And the reason is that for most of the media, this is not coverage. It would be a confession. That is, if they actually cover this story, they are confessing their own role in what may be the greatest political hit job in history.
You could show them a bag full of 20 heads and they wouldn't cover it. A bag full of 20 heads. Is that what he said? That was pretty close. But let me see. I want to go over some CUE posts. I want to talk about this judge, the latest judge that is denying deportations. Okay, she's ridiculous. She's insane. She's accusing the State Department of being racist. It's the most outrageous thing. I'll get to that in a second. But who do you all think is going to be the first big person to get arrested? Hi, Justin. How you doing? We got Justin Case and this Justin. And Gary. Gary jumped in. How you doing, Gary? Welcome to the revolution. Haha, that's right. Tank, nice to see you. Did I see Tank? Or did I? Wait a minute, I thought I did. I guess I read something wrong. I got a crooked eye, don't forget. Sandman, how you doing? If you're out there, Tank, hi. Lewis, nice to see you. So anyway, somebody's going to get it, and it's coming. Somebody with a big name. So what did I do? I went to the board, right? The board, the 17th letter board. And they're probably not in order, but I'll put some stuff up anyway. And I didn't edit out. They changed how I edit stuff. Number 541. What 19 people are currently meeting in a safe room, heavily guarded? Let me check that date. January 2018. Why did everyone leave their phones, all other electronic devices in room 239? Why does it take the information going public before justice is served? Why is the D Party making every effort to block the release of this FISA classified information? Remember, a lot of these judges who are involved in stopping the Trump administration right now in its tracks, delay tactics, have been FISA judges, could very well be involved in this situation. Why did Rod Rosenstein plead to Ryan? Remember, what's his face? Used to be Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, moments ago to prevent the release of this information. Where is Adam Schiff? 8 fired. X jailed. A certain number. I think that's about FBI people. Possible you-know-what asides. And there is the words Dan Scavino posted today. TikTok. With plus backslash plus in front. So who are those people? They were going in a skiff, wouldn't you say? Those 19 people were going in a skiff. That's my prediction. And who liked to go into skiffs a lot? Adam Schiff. Remember this name, folks? Who am I talking about, folks? I'm talking about the cult called Nex and then Eam, right? Very similar to what we're dealing with in the Epstein situation. Very similar. Allison Mack, the, what was it, Supergirl TV star, got convicted and is doing just what Ghislaine Maxwell's doing right now, naming names, right? Big names in Hollywood, government, local, federal, proof, the Standard Hotel, helicopter crash, all related. Future will prove past. AS. Who's that? Adam Schiff. Feeling okay today? Why is the Mexican border, Long Beach port, so important? TikTok, LLC. There's Adam Schiff's name. Would he be the first? Or would they start with somebody less prominent, like Podesta? This one, it didn't say TikTok in this one, but get a load. Singing like a canary, as Alan Dershowitz would say. Didn't Alan Dershowitz say that Ghislaine Maxwell was the Rosetta Stone? This is all very similar. And I don't know what this means. Canary palm tree signal? I don't know. I don't know what that means. I'm just pointing out Adam Schiff, Allison Mack, Nexium, all these names. Here we go again. Blunt and direct time. Blunt and direct. Adam Schiff is a traitor to our country. Leaker. National security. Evil. Here's the magic word. TikTok. Hope the 7.8 million was worth it. Enjoy the show. So is it going to be Adam Schiff? There he's mentioned in the TikTok stuff. So again, during my perusing, I came across some interesting posts. I got a screenshot of the portion of the document you see up top. I'll show you in a second. It says drip, drip, pain. Boom, week ahead. Boom, week ahead. Treason doesn't pay well in the end. Media keyword. The start. Well, what does that mean? What's that document they had? Right here it is. Right here's the document. Let me make it real big so we can read it. Below is a list of recipients between the 8th of November 2016 and the 31st of January 2017 to unmask and identify that had been generically referred to as an NSA foreign intelligence report. And the other underlined part says this response does not include any requests outside the specific time frame. People who got the unmasking, a list of recipients who have received Lieutenant General Flynn's identity in response to a request. Samantha Power, is she, I don't know, is she related to Jerome? I don't know. But Trump just recently asked, what's the story on her? Samantha Power, remember that? And I asked, is she related to Jerome? James Clapper, Kelly Degnan, U.S. Ambassador to the Republic of San Marino, John R. Phillips, John Brennan, Patrick Conian, Jacob Lew, Danny McGlynn, Danny McGlynn, Acting Assistant Secretary of the Treasury? Why would he want to know General Flynn's name? Traitors everywhere. Mike Neufeld, again from the Treasury. Another one from the Treasury, Sarah Ranskin. Oh, could that be about money laundering? Writing checks out to somebody and not asking why, just giving out money? I think that there you have it. Another Treasury, Nathan Sheets. So Treasury. All of them panicking and wanting information about money laundering. I'm certain of it. So we just heard Trump ask about Samantha Power. Keep that name in the back of your mind. I just want to give you all a reminder about what we're dealing with. Internal civil war. All-out assault against the duly elected president of the United States. We have never... You see, I have the word treason highlighted. If you put that word in, you'll come across the meme that Donald Trump posted today. Exact same meme with the upside down American flag. Treason and sedition are the highest levels of office, at the highest levels of office throughout many departments, foreign and domestic. Propaganda arm, fake news media of the D Party in full attack mode. No facts, only statements. Propaganda arm, fake news media of the D Party prevent and limit the sheep. We're not sheep anymore, from learning the truth. Propaganda arm of the fake news media of the Democrat Party retain control of the narrative, control over you. We're all supposed to run around going, where's the Epstein list? Where's the Epstein list? Not us. We want to know who's going to be the first one getting arrested. House Democrats in full attack mode. No facts, only statements. Senate Democrats in full attack mode. No facts, only statements. This is their last stand. Fear of prosecution, fear of the public learning the truth, fear of losing power, bribes, blackmail, threats, etc., all being deployed. We are at war. That's a reminder of where we're at. And I told you about Mike Johnson, said, I am a wartime Speaker of the House. Donald Trump said many times, we were at war. Was Josh Hawley threatened? Why did Josh Hawley do what he did to make Trump so mad? And cover for Nancy? I had another post. I came across this one. I've got a blow up of what they're showing here. This was a great proof. Anon are months ahead of the news. And the answer from the board said, the Corinthia Hotel. The Corinthia Hotel. Remember that, folks. That's over there in London. We have a couple walking. Future proves past. News unlocks the map. Anons are months ahead of the news. There you have Peter Strzok with the red arrow, and the white arrow is Lisa Page. What were they doing in London at the Corinthian Hotel? Picking up documents to support the phone taken in London to show we are everywhere. We hear all, we see all, we know all. Transcript of Lisa Page closed-door testimony provides new revelations in Spygate scandal. This was from the Epic Times, already been published. So out of these pictures, or is it going to be Rod Rosenstein? I didn't see Samantha Power's name up there. Yeah, I think he is too, Miss Mindersu. I think he's yeah. Hi, Jackie. $7.8 million, yes. So, is this all being done to get people curious, or have the people already been corralled and taken care of? This came out. Amuse put it out. Who was the FBI hero that saved thousands of classified Russiagate documents from destruction? The prior regime put thousands of classified documents in burn bags, but an unknown hero removed them to a secret room in the Hoover building before they could be burned. It turns out there are few good men or women in the FBI after all. So the public is starting to, and I remember I said, the left needs a hero. Remember I said that numerous times. Because we got to have a unified country, if to the greatest extent possible. Who was this hero? I said one of the possibilities could have been Christopher Wray. According to the FBI Director Kash Patel, thousands of classified Trump-Russia investigation documents were found in burn bags in a secret room in the Hoover building. Someone had intended for the evidence to be destroyed, but it appears that someone else decided to do posterity or prosecution. I'm thinking the latter. Patel has turned over the documents to the Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley. One of the documents found in a burn bag was a previously unseen classified annex to former special counsel John Durham's final report. Wouldn't it be a bomb if it was Schiff? Dan Scavino put out TikTok for a reason. And I looked at all the ones that had TikTok in them, and Schiff's name kept popping up. I found this interesting. The White House posted this. Have a great weekend, Patriots. Trump waving goodbye. I'm going to play this. Donald Trump put this up. It's from Jesse Waters. It's a good bit of video. I got to put my headphones in because I won't be able to keep up with it. But anyway, Jesse Waters pretty much puts it in a nutshell. And the ending of the video, I said, well, maybe that's why Trump chose this clip. Not really. I think he chose it because it is a good synopsis. They even have a traitor, not only in the National Archives, the library, but the one who does the jobs report numbers. I meant to bring that up earlier, but I didn't pull up Trump's comments on that. This is the same woman who put up job reports in the final days towards the election where it looked like Biden and Harris had created over 800,000 jobs. It was all phony. It all turned out to be false. Trump called it fraudulent. That same woman is in charge right now, putting out false numbers about Trump's economy. So anyway, let's see what Jesse Waters has got to say. Maybe she'll get arrested. I don't know, for fraud or who knows what. You can't manipulate numbers like that. But anyway, let's hear what Jesse's got to say.
The panic got it wrong again.
Up 3%, up 3%. Better than expected. That would be the highest level since the third quarter of 24 when it was up 3.1%. On the consumption side, up 1.4, very close to estimates. Up 1.4 would be the best since the last quarter of 24.
The economy is roaring, and we're a golden ticket away from the golden age. But the guy with the tickets is holding us hostage. 3%, way better than expected. Too late, must now lower the rate. 47 says too late. Jerome's costing the country a fortune.
Each point, $365 billion a year. Think of that. 1 point, $365 billion. If you bring it down a point, we save 365. I call him too late. You know, he's always too late. Even if he does it today, probably won't. For what reason? Nobody knows.
So what did the Fed chair do? Nothing.
In support of our goals, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to leave our policy interest rate unchanged.
Did this guy get hit in the head renovating the Fed? 3% growth, low unemployment, business investment booming, and inflation's only at 2.1%. 2.1. And unlike Bidenomics, wages are growing faster than inflation. And also, unlike Bidenomics, we're creating jobs for Americans, not illegals. Americans have gained 2 million jobs, and illegals have lost 500,000. And what do you know? The fruit's not dying on the vine. So, what's Powell's excuse this time? He cut 3 times last year for Biden-Harris, and their inflation rate was higher than Trump's. It's got to be personal, because he cut when he was told to by Pocahontas.
He said he waited too long, and the best way you can show that you waited too long and that you get it and that you are becoming more responsive to where we are on interest rates is actually go ahead and do a nice big rate cut.
Today at the rate meeting, there was a mutiny. That hasn't happened since 1993. Clinton hadn't even met Lewinsky yet.
And it does show how Fed Chair Powell, he's not just facing pressure from the White House to cut interest rates, he's also facing pressure from some of his colleagues inside this building.
Chuck Schumer, who doesn't even know how to grill a burger, is accusing Trump of putting out fake numbers.
While the Trump administration will try to wave rosy headlines about the Q2 number, today's GDP number is in fact a mirage.
A mirage is when you see things that aren't there, like Joe Biden in the White House. The entire Democrat Party is a mirage. You take away USAID, illegals, and mail-in ballots, and there's no there there. Even CNBC panicans are mocking Chuck and Pocahontas.
Senator Elizabeth Warren will come on and say inflation's out of control and the economy is getting killed by what's happening by these tariffs. This 3% with the market at new highs, and really we haven't seen inflation, but none of these horrible things have happened, but they still talk like it's happening. It's amazing.
There's an important lesson.
Okay, I'm just going to interrupt. I'm taking down somebody, deleting the comments. Change your name and come back, because I don't allow, no offense, but I don't allow that kind of innuendo, okay, as sexual innuendo in my comments. You pick another name for yourself and come back, okay? I didn't block you. I'm just taking your comments down, but don't come back with that name again or you'll be blocked. You're welcome to come here. I just don't allow that things that refer to filth like that. Okay. Jerome Powell. It's supposed to be an independent agency. The Supreme Court has ruled that Trump can fire people from these agencies. But one of their rulings I heard on Andrew Branca today specifically said that doesn't mean Trump can fire anyone from the Fed like Jerome Powell. I don't know. But where is the Fed in the Constitution? If it's an independent agency, it can run our economy. It can charge us close to $1 trillion a year, and nobody can do anything about it. Not the president, not Congress. Anyway, you're welcome, Miss Sue.
Listen there. Don't pick a congressman to be your money manager. The Democrats, of course, as you pointed out, really don't want to see the current administration have some success. But there's no doubt that this is some success.
Don't pick a congressman to be your money manager, except Pelosi. More on her later. The mainstream media is admitting that Trump is winning. We have just concluded a deal with the country of Pakistan, whereby Pakistan and the United States will work together on developing a baby drill in Pakistan after they harbored bin Laden, or as Obama says, Pakistan. And Trump says he just got a deal with South Korea. 15% tariff rate. They buy our energy and invest here in America, and they open up their whole market. POTUS is bringing the doubters on notice.
Critics said that our tariffs would hurt the economy, but the data shows the exact opposite, and the exact opposite is happening. Foreign imports were down 30% in the second quarter, while the domestic auto production surged by a stunning 36%. How about that number, Dr. Oz? Right, that's good.
All the good news is making Democrats blow a fuse. Their attacks are falling flat, so they're turning on each other like the Real Housewives.
The Democratic Party needs a wake-up call. It's time for Democrats to have a backbone. It's time for us to fight. It's time for us to draw lines. Don't question my integrity. Don't question my motives. I'm standing for Jersey. I am standing for my police officers. I'm standing for the Constitution, and I'm standing for what's right. And dear God, if you want to come at me that way, you're going to have to take it up with me.
Rules for men: control your emotions. You never see Trump lose his cool, even when they arrested him and put him on trial. The great Paul Moreau quoted Ernest Hemingway on the Five and said, "Don't confuse movement with action." Democrat Dan Turrentine, rhymes with wine, agrees.
You have Booker, who keeps giving angry speeches, right? He doesn't do anything. He doesn't offer anything. He just screams fight. So he's the hysteria caucus right now.
Democrats were texting reporters during Spartacus's screed that they were rhymes with hissed. They were calling him a theater kid, and an attention rhymes with door.
There's a way to change a bill, and then there's a way to get in the opening segment of Morning Joe and on the front page of the New York Times. And Corey chose the latter rather than the former.
Corey's my senator, and all he does is yell at me. If that's all it takes, then we might as well elect Jessica Tarlov. Just like Mayor Pete's beard, this isn't working. With guys like Booker, Beto, and Buttigieg getting in catfights with Amy Klobuchar, no wonder Democrats feel like they don't have any men in their party. According to a new survey, they can't name a single Democrat more masculine than Barack Obama. And is glad he never had a son. That Barry, who said boys should stop playing sports and take their gay friend to the theater. That Barry. So Democrats are forced to role play. Swalwell's hitting the weights.
Barry the fairy. That's what we'd have been calling him. All in good fun, of course. Barry, fairy.
And now he's calling out Gutfeld. Quote, "Here's a deal for Gutfeld. The deal, if tough guy benches more than me for 10 reps, I'll leave Congress. If not, he leaves Fox News. I'll give Greg 48 hours to accept, and then I'm calling him Gutlessfeld." Gutfeld's an old man, Congressman. Take it easy on him. Democrats are like little orphan Annies. Their father got cooed and disappeared into Delaware, and now their mom left home. Kamala just made a big announcement. Quote, "After deep reflection, I've decided that I will not run for governor in this election. For now, my leadership and public service will not be in elected office." Hunter Biden, when reached for comment, told us, "That's interesting." Kamala's not running because she was going to lose. Donors weren't giving. And she was going to have to run a tough primary. So to save face, she's going to sit on her keister in California and nag Doug. Since mommy and daddy are out of the picture, Democrats are going to have to grow up the hard way. Screaming, singing, and dancing won't make you into a man. First, they should try crushing deals and drives.
Did you get to see my drive in the first hole? You hit it straight pretty high. I did. Pretty long. Pretty long. That's no Joe Biden, let me tell you. That's not Biden, right? That was a good drive.
That's why I think Trump put this clip up. Because he was talking about his drive. But anyway, no, I hear what the real story is. And I got some polling from Harry Hinton. But before I do that, I want to put this up because another thing that Dan Scavino posted about, which he doesn't post a whole lot, when he does, I try to look for something. What did he put up? Is this it? Yeah. "You're an American hero," at Devin Nunes. He put that up today, or yesterday, last night at 7:38. Remember we were talking about Devin Nunes being activated? Because he was the one that Adam Schiff abused so badly. What did he do? Bugged his phone and took his call logs and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, here he is talking to, what's her name? Laura Ingraham, I believe.
Congressman, now you investigated all of this when you were in Congress. I want to focus on what this special services reference is in one of these memos that the Obama administration had in 2016 and the connection to George Soros.
Well, look, if you take this simply, if we would have had that email, which we were supposedly getting 17 and 18, this would have been very relevant. And in fact, that one email, Laura, probably sums it up better than anyone else can do it. We all knew this had happened. We all knew why they were doing it. But why weren't we given the email? That is against the law. They broke the law right there. Right? You can't lie or mislead Congress or withhold evidence from Congress, especially one that led to President Trump's entire term being ruined by this nonsense. And how many lives were ruined by this? I mean, General Flynn, Mike Caputo, Roger Stone, we can go on and on and on, the damage that was done. But I think most importantly, that people aren't paying attention to, would we have this quagmire going on with Russia and Ukraine, had all of this nonsense, the damage that it did? Putin's a bad guy and a difficult guy and a figure that is very difficult to deal with. The Democrats, played right into exactly what he wanted. And what we now know for sure is not only was this a plan by Hillary Clinton, but this is also a plan by the Soros Society. So this is, I think, something that the entire new, Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and what they're doing with the strike force, I think they need to look into this very, very deep, because I think you'll find the same people doing the same nonsense from 2016 all the way up until the raid at Mar-a-Lago.
Well, he stops it at the raid at Mar-a-Lago with George Soros. But I would take it so far as to the continuing interference with Trump's presidency and the 2 attempts on his life. But people, over the past 9 years, people have to realize have cost this country trillions of dollars. We've seen, as Devin Nunes said, people's lives being destroyed. Not only in the government, that the people that went to help Trump, but look how many, the wars wouldn't have happened, and the pathogen, I'll put it that way, the pathogen wouldn't have happened. Look how many people couldn't be with their loved ones, lost loved ones in nursing homes. We're talking a horrific amount of damage over the years that we would not have gone through if it wasn't for this grand conspiracy. And that's what it was, and that's what it is. Even though we're seeing the remnants of it, we have to remind ourselves how much human suffering, the riots, people being beaten in the streets, how much money it has cost us directly out of our pockets to deal with this huge influx of illegal migrants. And on we can go. Here's another post from Scavino. Hey, Chuck, what did you know January 2017? And it's that clip I played many times where Chuck Schumer said, the intel agencies know how to get you 6 ways from Sunday. I have to find, if I ever find the clip, folks, I'll play it. It was on YouTube. But as awful as some of the things we've seen and things we've been through collectively as a nation, these people who are pushing for the Democrats to succeed have no idea how horrible it can get. When you get to violence in the streets, the clips on YouTube, when government's on the side of the anarchists, And you can't get much more anarchical than people running around with masks, screaming and yelling all night, burning cities down. You can't send your kid to school without worrying that they're going to be secretly transformed into something else, who's infiltrating their mind, and the media being supportive of that kind of barbarism, hedonism. And that's just the beginning. I find that clip, I'll show it, but if I will give a warning how bad things could be. Here's something that's not coincidence. Well, wait a minute. That's not the one I'm looking for. Wait a second. Let me find the one that's not coincidence. No, that's not it either. Stick with me. I'll get to it in a second. Has to do with our courts. Here we go. The European Court of Justice. Remember how close we came to Barack Obama's administration trying to coordinate with the UN about gun control in the United States. Remember that. Now we have the international body telling the EU. The European Court of Justice banned migrant deportations in a groundbreaking ruling. The CGEU prohibits national governments from deporting migrants to their home. National governments follow a complex procedure, I guess approved of by the European Union. The criteria for declaring a country safe for deportations to be respected means that national governments must look whether or not the person they want to deport can assert his or her rights effectively. And the information for that must be made available for judicial review. You're talking about millions of people that if Europe wants to save itself, has to send back home. And they want to hold court for every single damn one of them. They want to permanently alter European nations, and not for the good, meaning that deportation orders will be subject to censure by a judge. Who can decide to override that order and stop the deportation if the judge considers the country unsafe. They're making the countries they're coming into unsafe. Ask Laken Riley's parents. If a EU country would like to deport Arab migrants back to the Middle East, the authoritarian governments in the region may be sufficient grounds, denial of the right of freedom of expression or freedom of assembly after this decision to stop the deportation altogether, no matter if the migrant on the deportation list is a danger to society or not. That the ruling of the CGU EU cannot be appealed or overturned. That judge that blocked 600,000 then was miming these same points. Talk about coordination. That the country is too dangerous, putting out pages and pages of sob stories. Well, this person's been here for so many years, and they now have a fiance, and they now have children who are American children. trying to give them de facto citizenship because they get to wear those black robes. That's exactly what this bunch is doing over there in Europe. But here's a bright spot. Well, some more of the pressure going on Russia. Indian state refineries halted purchases of Russian oil last week, Reuters reports. This happened against the backdrop of Trump's threats to impose 100% tariffs on countries buying Russian oil. Indian refineries, Indian Oil Corporation, Hindu Petroleum Corp, Bharat Petroleum Corp, and Mangalore Refinery, whatever, have not purchased Russian oil in the last week. All four companies turned to Middle East and Western African grades to replace supplies. Remember what I said? Trump will break people's economic backs that don't play ball with him, and he's showing Russia not only can we move nuclear subs your way, but we can starve your bank accounts. Trump demanded that the European Union stop purchasing Russian energy sources and fully switch to American liquefied natural gas, reports Politico. According to the publication, Trump expressed dissatisfaction that the EU continues to buy energy resources from Russia, both directly and indirectly. Who do you think's going to win that little battle? The media failure with Cambodia and Thailand. Well, guess what? Cambodia will nominate Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize in gratitude for his contribution to the ceasefire between this country and Thailand. Have you heard that in the regular news? No, all you heard was stories and rumors from sources that it's not working and Trump was a failure. But then this comes out, you don't hear anything. Is that prima facie evidence of coordination? A conspiracy? Without the U.S. president, the agreement would hardly have been concluded, said Cambodian Deputy Prime Minister Sun Chanthol. The Deputy Prime Minister also mentioned that Cambodia hopes to obtain exemptions from imposed tariffs from the U.S. Again, tariffs promoting peace. Jack Posobiec, let me see what he's got. There we go. Daily Beast forced to retract story falsely linking Melania Trump to Jeffrey Epstein. Apologizes. I hope that's not enough. I hope she sues their eyeballs out of their head. After reviewing the matter, the Beast has taken down the article and apologizes for any confusion or misunderstanding. I said they were screwing around with Ivanka, Midas Trash Network, and Daily Beast with Melania. They were going to get their eyeballs sued out of their head. Let's hope it happens. Here is a in case somebody wondering about Hillary. Here she is giggling like a schoolgirl. Look at her. You'll hear her cackling in the background when Trump got indicted. Grand jury returns 10 indictments in Trump probe. Look at her smiling. But at the end she says she's sad. But she's cackling all through this. This is right when news came out he got indicted.
All over the country right now, people are wondering what Hillary Rodham Clinton is thinking, watching things unfold in Georgia. She is the I should tell you, she has a new essay out.
Oh, I
It's really
can't
nice having
believe
her.
this.
Yeah, this is not the circumstances in which I expected to be talking to you.
Nor me, Rachel. It's always good to talk to you, but honestly, I didn't think that it would be under these circumstances. Yet another set of indictments.
This is something, this is becoming like a skill set. Like in the news business, you say like, oh, I've covered Olympics or I've covered a campaign. Now it's, you know, those of us who've covered 4 indictments. Do you feel satisfaction in that? You warned the country essentially that he was going to try to end democracy, but most of the country didn't believe you.
Well, it's hard to believe. I don't feel any satisfaction. I feel great. You know, just great, profound, sad.
She just got finished cackling and laughing. And remember that, what I played from Newt Gingrich, where he was saying he heard word came out that indictments had to be done, period, no matter what the grand jury said. Remember that? That's criminal interference with a grand jury. So, you know, it may be somebody, maybe Fannie Willis, who's going to get it first. This is another one that Trump put up. Until this happens, nothing will change. When did he put that up? Yesterday or today? There they are. Hey, folks, remember, this is a viewer-supported channel. I don't get any, I'm not monetized on YouTube. I have a Buy Me a Coffee link in the description if anybody wants to help out with the channel. I keep forgetting to say that, and I'm almost an hour and a half into the broadcast. But anyway, it helps keep the channel going. It's kind of hard as a one-man band. So I have a link in the description in Rumble description and YouTube subscription. And I want to thank Wayne and Mike and Bev and Sharon for helping out last week. I do appreciate it. I had my little coffee cup, but I can't find it. My studio is so full of stuff. It gets buried. But anyway, here's Trump put up this about Victor David Hanson. A lot of you have been listening to him over the years, but Trump thought this clip was important enough to put on his page, so I will play it.
This week in the news, the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, made a discovery that are pertinent to the so-called Russian collusion hoax. The intelligence agencies knew from information from the Dutch that there was no Russian collusion. That was known to John Brennan. That was known to James Clapper. That was probably known to the FBI. But they have notes. They have information that when they prepared this daily, weekly digest of intelligence updates to Barack Obama in 2016 and into 2017, he ignored it. He did not want to hear that. It was almost like, you find me the crime and I'll give you the criminal. Just get me a narrative that Donald Trump is colluding with the Russians and we'll spread it. And spread it they did. If it's credible, then you have a conspiracy of the top people in the United States intelligence and investigative communities conspiring with a sitting president of the United States to destroy Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, the bottom line is it's undeniable. And I've talked about in the past how I had friends that just disappeared, people that I knew for years. I would say something like, Trump's not that bad. I think I'm hoping he does a good job and everybody be all right. And I never see him again. They get so damn angry. What causes this irrational lunacy against Trump? What's going to make them change? Make them feel like weirdos, I guess, which is what they should feel like. This is Harry Enten. He's talking about the general mood. Now, these are lefty polling places, so I would think of an extra 10% on whatever they're saying to the negative of Democrats. But here's what Harry Enten put up about Democrat polling.
Democrats at this point are historically divided. It is a complete and utter mess. It is messier than a horse. Poll leader, 25% plus. Normally, that's where Democrats are. Biden was at 25% plus in 2020. Hillary Clinton was in 08 and 16. Gore was in 00 and 04. At this particular point, there is a president who's polling at 25% plus. The water is quite warm. If you're a Democrat potentially thinking about running in 2028, jump right in, because at this point, there is no front runner.
What do you think? Is that because how people view the Democratic Party right now, is that contributing to this?
Yeah, I think that is in large part of what's going on, is one of the reasons why there is no front runner. Nobody wants to put anybody up at the top of their ballot list, is because at this particular point, the Democratic brand is in the basement. It is total and complete garbage in the mind of the American public. The Democratic Party's net favorable rating, record lows in all three. Wall Street Journal, 30 points underwater. CNN, 26 points underwater. Gallup, 26 points underwater. And that is being driven in large part by discontent within the Democratic base. The Democratic base wants something different. We'll ultimately end up seeing who they choose. It'll be quite the thing who ultimately gets the rose.
Yes.
Who do they have to choose from? Hunter Biden? Seriously, who do they have to choose from? It's ridiculous. And they can't resurrect Biden. He's too far gone. Here is where he made an appearance. Look, he almost looks skeletal. But here he is talking about how Trump wants to destroy everything they built up. Well, yeah, you're damn right.
My friends, we need to face the hard truth of this administration. Need in my administration, rather than make it, to erase fairness, equality, to erase justice itself. And that's not hyperbole, that's a fact.
Yeah, we want to erase it. We wish we could go back in time. But maybe it had to be this way. We had to see just how pitiful would put up. Here's what the Babylon Bee put up about Colbert. Big representative of the Democrat Party. Dr. Strange reveals that across 14 million universes, Colbert's show bombs in every single one. The people are getting sick, puked out. Oh, is this another Scavino post? Let me see. Yeah, I forgot about this. What do you all see in this post, folks? Want to see heads explode? Question mark. Breaking. El Salvador approves indefinite presidential elections and extends presidential terms to 6 years. AP. Bukele is going to be there for 6 more years. Then this cropped up on my news feed. El Salvador, NPR puts this up. NPR. El Salvador approves indefinite presidential re-election, extends presidential terms to 6 years. The party of El Salvador President Nayib Bukele approved constitutional changes. Dan Scavino put that up. I'm thinking, remember Prohibition, folks? Where you couldn't go out and have a beer? It was illegal. It was put in the Constitution. What happened to that amendment? It got taken down. It doesn't exist anymore. We've got 2 amendments. Taxes and presidential term limits. What if Trump has a referendum to get rid of both of those amendments. Return us to where for 130, 40 years, this country, you could live and it wasn't nobody's damn business. You didn't have to answer to some government freak about what you did with your day, how you spent your day, how much money you made, and have to give them a piece of you. That's where we lost our freedom and turned into a slave state. And if people go in to vote to repeal that amendment, and they realize if it wasn't for Trump, we'd never see that day, don't you think they wouldn't appeal the term limits on the president at the same time? That's what I'm thinking. Clean up the Constitution. It's got political graffiti written on it, and it's got the keys to slavery. When you have an amendment that says the sovereign has the right to take 100% of the fruits of your labor, and if you don't report it, you go to jail, you're not free anymore. The only answer for that kind of amendment is that it will be abused, period. You can't have the government have that kind of power. So we shall see. And as you know, it's a 2/3, right, of the states have to agree? Or what is it with a constitutional, to change the Constitution? As bad as the Democrats are doing, what I just that happening. Now, Diamond and Silk put this trailer, religiously themed movie, they said, that is being censored or oppressed by the film industry. And it's a film called Pardon Me. Have you heard about this? And here's the trailer for it. And I guess I'll have to keep my ear to the ground about it. It shows Trump holding some pardons, but they said they are stifling this movie.
All right, now I need you to count back from 10.
10, 9, 8, 7.
Based on a true story. First I've heard of it, so you all might want to keep your antennas up about that. And they say it's a faith-based movie. And the big shots don't want to have anything to do with it. Which means it's probably a good thing. Sandman, how you doing? And yeah, Roland, I saw what you said earlier about Trump should side with Ukraine. I mean, side with Russia and not you. Game. Hi, Cole. How you doing? Thank you for saying hit the thumbs up. But that's going to be the end game, Roland. It's a show right now. We've already sided with Ukraine and Russia. We just want the bad actors out. This is a military police action. Russia's involved. They're going to clean out the elements that created the labs over in Ukraine. Okay? The money laundering that the Bidens and all the senators have been involved in Ukraine, that stuff's going to get cleaned up in the end. But right now, we've got to go through the motions and not give them ammunition where they say Trump is a puppet of Putin. That's have always been their game. But anyway, folks, this is a little clip from Chris Cuomo. Let me see if this is the right clip. Yeah. And I want to leave you all with this clip because the Democrats are leaving the party right and left. And look at Chris Cuomo's face as he listens to this woman. She said she's a loyal Democrat. And hear what she's got to say about Donald J. Trump. And you're going to be hearing more and more of this as we go through the months ahead. But what do I always say? I say thank you for spending your precious time with me. I appreciate you all being with me. And I will be broadcasting probably, definitely Monday. Well, now I never say definitely, but maybe Sunday. If you're subscribed, you'll know when I go live. And do me a favor, hit the notification bell, but also the thumbs up helps the video get around. So, once again, this is Mountain Man. I'll be seeing you soon. Have a great night. And enjoy this clip.
I'm too proud to say that I am wrong about Trump. I'm a proud Democrat.
How so?
And he's done a lot of things. Immigration. I'm happy about what's happening with immigration. I thought the stock market would tank, and I'm pretty happy with my 401k. There's a few things that I just thought things would go wrong, and I'm very happy.
Well, that is big of you to say. It'll probably lose you some friends in this polarized environment that we're in right now. But there's nothing wrong with being happy with results, no matter who gives them to you, right? So I appreciate your candor. Next.
And you know what? A lot of calls saying the exact same thing. And the sad part is that she feels that she can't say it, you know?